Alright guys, so in the last one I showed you how to make the aiming pose. That was basically the most difficult one to do, especially with the bow. Getting a good aiming pose for it is the most difficult. So we've got that out of the way. That was the reason why I did that one first. I'm going to duplicate that one and I'm going to name it idle ready, because I'm going to make my idle ready out of this one. It'll just be easier to do it that way, and you'll see why. I'm going to unlink that level sequence on this duplicated one because that we don't want that to be linked to the other one. It doesn't really matter because when you bake it to a new one, it'll override that link anyway, but I like to do it, just to be safe. Unreal can be weird sometimes. It can hold on to stuff, so I like to do that just to be safe. Okay, I'm going to undo that drag. When you first open it up, and if you try to click and drag like this, it'll actually click and drag the entire thing. So just be aware of that, because I like to always, on these poses, these single frame poses, I always remove that last key, and I'll only keep the one on frame 0. So I'm going to come over to the bow and drop a bow in here, and I'm going to go to add actor to track, add that bow. Right click, convert selected bindings, spawnable. Now I'm going to go to my anim details with it selected, and I'm going to zero it out. I'm going to press this track plus button, and I'm going to go to attach, UEFN bow idle, and weapon L. And because I've already posed this weapon L, he'll already be holding it. So yeah. Let me zoom out, and I always like to expand this one frame. That way, if we attach this to the string or whatever, it won't like do some funny stuff on the last frame if it, thinks that it's detached or in a different location for whatever weird reason. So I'm just going to apply that to it for now, because what I want to actually do is I want to select this guy, and I'm going to press G. What I need to do is I need to put this in IK mode. So before I do anything, I'm going to select this global control, and I'm just going to trigger these switches right here, save it, go ahead and add an additive track. Now I'm going to select this right here, and I'm going to add a constraint to the string. Dynamic offset, I am going to select no. I'm going to uncheck that. So what dynamic offset means is it means that you can offset it on individual keyed frames relative to that constraint or that item that you're constrained to. That would allow it to move relative to that thing that you're constraining it to. And in a lot of cases, you actually don't want that. And in my case, I do not. So that's why I did that. I'm just going to go ahead and Control-Shift-S to save everything. Now I'm going to select this, and I'm going to remove that animation. And you'll notice something here, a neat little trick. It means that whenever I start posing this, his hand will stay exactly where it was relative to that string as it was before. Now, what I'm going to do And I'm just going to zero that stuff out. Actually, kind of looks a little ridiculous right now. But I'm going to try to find a middle ground here somewhere where maybe it doesn't look ridiculous. Like it's like he's ready, but without it looking weird. I like the idea of it being sideways, but then I don't want the wrist to be all like twisted 90 degrees like it is now. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to rotate this. Might seem weird, but I think maybe I can get a better looking. Oops. And what I could do is I could go back and I could go, I do want dynamic offset. And then what I could do is like, I could come over here to this temporary pivot tool. Right, so we're in edit mode right now. Let me set this in local. And then I'll go into pose mode. And now I can rotate it. Oh, damn it. Okay, never mind. Unreal Engine's pivot tool is acting retarded now, so I don't know what to tell you. It looks like it doesn't want to work properly. Yeah, it moved it way over. Okay. It might be because it's constrained to the object, and once it gets screwed up like this, hang it up, guys, because it's not going to work now. So that's unfortunate. See, if I come back over here now, it's right here, and there's no way to reset this. There's no reset button on it to reset its location. So that's a no-go. What I was going to do is I was going to use that to rotate it around where rotate this around the fingers. That was going to be what I was going to do, but it apparently doesn't want me to do that. It might be because of that dynamic offset. I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't matter because I can't reset this anyway. It won't let me. There's no way to reset it. That's so weird. You'd think there would be a reset button, but there isn't. Okay, whatever. You can always eyeball it too, though. Unfortunately, it looks like that's really the only option here, is to kind of eyeball it. and this would allow us to have the fingers somewhat where they were. But yeah, so if the pivot tool is working, or maybe next time just like unconstrain it from here before you use the pivot tool, that was probably the problem. That's probably what screwed it up, unfortunately. But yeah, so you'll see the fingers are clipping right here now. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to open up the fingers a bit. Yeah, that's probably okay, I guess. Anyway, you know, you can make your own poses or whatever. If you don't like that pose, you know, by all means, please, you know, make your own poses. It won't hurt my feelings at all. I don't really like this pose. I'll probably end up coming back and modifying it. Let me see. I don't know. Maybe I can get this. I just feel like it should be in further. Let's just go ahead and remove that. Make sure it's in global. If it's not in global, remember what it does. It'll offset things, you know, in different directions. Don't try to rotate it though. If you try to rotate it, it will offset it. If you need to rotate one, then you'll have to reconstrain it. You can actually select this, and you can probably get this billboard, and you can expose the transform. And just, you know, set its scale way down. And that'll make it so that's not in the way anymore. Nothing I can do about this control size right here though, without going into the control rig and, you know. Let me just go ahead and reconstrain this. I think that'll be about good enough. I'll just go ahead and save that. That's going to be it for this pose. So you see that if I hadn't extended that earlier, this right here to frame 2, then this is what the end of that pose would look like. Because this is actually 2 frames right here, 0 and 1. It might look like there's only 1 frame here, but there's 2. Every animation has to have a start frame and an end frame, and the start and end frame cannot be the same. So the least they can be is 2 frames. So I made that, and This one ought to be fairly easy, actually. So we're going to edit this one with, oh, my bad. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to bake this to the control rig. And again, delete the first frame. Spawnable. Attach. Weapon L. Zero it out. I'm just going to select all of that and paste. And in actuality, that's probably good enough, actually. But I think I'm going to leave this in FK this time. And I'm going to rotate it out like this. Hopefully it won't clip into the leg. If it does, we can come back and modify it. These are set up so that we can go back and we can modify these and just resave them. And when we save them, the change will reflect inside of here automatically. And so it will also reflect inside of the game. Okay, so we've got all of our poses now. In the next one, we're going to assign these poses. Oh, no, we don't have all of our poses. We need to do our aim offset poses. Okay, in the next one, we'll show you how to do the aim offset poses.